Hello, my name is Amy Poliero, and today's date is April 23rd, 2025. I am a multimedia artist from the suburbs of Philadelphia, and I'm currently based in London. I am primarily a painter, but recently have been developing a sculpture practice, and I also have a background in photography. I am very interested in physics and mathematics, and my work right now is focused on exploring higher dimensions, quantum phenomena, and the possibility of extraterrestrial life. As a kid, I was obsessed with and really affected by the weather. It's probably why I became so interested in physics and properties of light in the first place, and also why those are now the foundations of my practice. I also grew up going to church, and I really enjoy looking at religious art, and I think that the architecture of the American Protestant church specifically has made its way into my work alongside those more scientific concepts. Some of my biggest influences are artists like Hilma af Klint, Agnes Pelton, and Ross Bleckner. I love abstract art that still has a sense of atmosphere despite its apparent flatness. And outside of the visual art world, I am very influenced by science fiction. I am currently reading Octavia Butler's Xenogenesis series, which I can highly recommend if you like sci-fi. Sort of less specifically, I am inspired by the drawings in physics textbooks, religious architecture, like I mentioned, and sunlight. Right now, I am focusing on refining the geometric language of my work so that I can play with scale. For example, painting a large canvas with only a very small area of fine detail. The contrast between sort of high fidelity and low fidelity areas of a painting can create atmosphere in a work that maybe doesn't have a perceived ground. There are a lot of repeated shapes throughout my work and my sculptural work, mostly spheres, cubes, and grids. Because I'm working with a lot of different mediums right now, there's the paintings and wood and metal and plastic in sculpture. Repeating these simple geometric forms sort of helps me tie it all together. I think that the biggest challenge of being an artist, and for a lot of artists probably, is staying true to yourself and allowing for earnestness in the studio. There are so many outside influences telling us what and how to make. Not that understanding the market isn't an important part of being a working artist, but ultimately you need to make work that feels like you. If I were able to give some advice to my younger self, actually, I don't know if giving her advice would be very helpful, since she tends to overthink things and a message from me might make it worse. So I think I would just tell her that I'm proud of her and not to stress so much about the work and just have fun. Something unconventional that I've been experimenting with in the studio is gluing yarn on canvases to delineate forms before I start painting. It creates a really dramatic effect when the canvas is lit from an angle or when it's in direct sunlight. I love how malleable yarn is as a material, and I think it really helps transform paintings from image to object, which is one of my goals in my work. In the studio, I'm also pretty much always listening to music while I work. It depends on my mood and the time of day. But I mostly listen to melodic techno music, which I find to be energizing and meditative at the same time. The best reaction that somebody's had to my artwork is that it makes them feel warm and curious. I don't think I could ask for a better response than that. I also think that when someone wants to buy my work, that is the highest compliment that I can receive as an artist. For someone to want something that I made to be in their home, probably forever, that is really special. I hope that my artwork feels accessible and enjoyable as both an intellectual and an aesthetic experience. I think sometimes we as artists can get really caught up in the theory behind our work, and we sort of forget why people enjoy art in the first place. I think it is through beauty that an artwork can effectively deliver messages, and for me, hopefully that message comes across as warm and curious, which is also how I feel when I'm making the work. Thank you very much for listening to my interview, and thanks, Stan, for this opportunity. It's been great to sort of reflect on how my work got to where it is today.